The Mediterranean sun beat down on the golden sands of Port El Kantaoui, where hundreds of tourists from across Europe had gathered to soak in the early summer warmth. Children splashed in the turquoise shallows, while their parents lounged under straw parasols, oblivious to the shadow creeping toward them. It was June 26, 2015, a day that promised nothing but relaxation and the gentle rhythm of the waves. But in the blink of an eye, the sound of the ocean was drowned out by the rhythmic crack of gunfire, and the paradise of Sousse was transformed into a landscape of unimaginable horror. Before we carry on with the story, please remember to comment, like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss future episodes of the Calendar of Crime. Your support helps us continue to bring these important stories to light. A white van pulled up on a side road just a short distance from the bustling beach. A young man stepped out, blending in perfectly with the holiday crowd. He wore a dark t-shirt and shorts, looking like just another student on vacation. Tucked under his arm was a large, brightly colored beach umbrella, a common sight on the Tunisian coast. But hidden within the folds of that fabric was a Kalashnikov assault rifle and a supply of grenades. He walked with a chillingly calm purpose toward the water's edge, his eyes fixed on the rows of sunlungers. At approximately 11:45 a.m., the first shots rang out. Seyfeddine Rezgui dropped the umbrella and unleashed a hail of bullets into the unsuspecting crowd. The initial confusion was lethal. Some tourists thought the noise was firecrackers or a celebration. But as the screams began and bodies slumped into the sand, the reality of the situation became clear. Rezgui moved methodically, raking the front rows of loungers with gunfire. The beach, once a place of joy, became a chaotic maze of fleeing people, abandoned towels, and the smell of gunpowder. Panic surged as holidaymakers scrambled for any cover they could find. Some dove into the sea, hoping the water would shield them, while others ran toward the nearby hotels. Rezgui didn't stop at the shoreline. He followed the path of the fleeing tourists, moving toward the 5-star Riu Imperial Marhaba Hotel. He walked through the pool area, where more guests were caught in the crossfire. His expression remained eerily detached as he continued to fire, his weapon never wavering. Inside the hotel lobby, the elegance of the resort was shattered. Guests who had sought refuge behind the reception desk or in the luggage rooms listened in terror as the gunman entered the building. The sound of shattering glass and the heavy thud of grenades echoed through the marble halls. Families huddled together in stairwells, whispering final goodbyes as they heard the footsteps of the killer approaching. One young woman, hiding with her fiancé, was tragically struck by a bullet that pierced the hotel's glass facade, becoming one of the many lives cut short that afternoon. Outside, the bravery of ordinary people began to emerge. A hotel worker, armed only with a mobile phone, began to film the gunman from a distance, documenting the atrocity as it unfolded. Local Tunisians, horrified by what was happening to their guests, began to shout at Rezgui, trying to distract him or lead him away from the crowds. Some even chased him, risking their lives to prevent further bloodshed. Their actions stood in stark contrast to the initial, agonizingly slow response of the local security forces. As Rezgui fled the hotel and moved into a side alley, his rampage was finally nearing its end. On a nearby rooftop, a local builder named Mael Monsef watched the gunman from above. In a desperate act of defiance, he began throwing heavy roof tiles down on Rezgui, hitting him and causing him to stumble. This distraction gave the police the opening they needed. In a final exchange of fire on a narrow street near a souvenir shop, the gunman was shot and killed. As he fell, a final grenade rolled from his hand, a silent testament to the carnage he had intended to continue. The aftermath was a scene of profound grief and international shock. 38 people were dead, the majority of them British citizens who had simply been enjoying a summer holiday. The victims spanned 3 generations of families, from grandfathers to young men, just starting their lives. In the days that followed, the world watched as coffins were flown back to their homelands, and the quiet town of Sousse became a site of global mourning. The shambolic police response would later be scrutinized in court, leading to a long and painful search for accountability. Today, a memorial stands as a somber reminder of those lost on that June afternoon. The The Sousse attack changed the face of Tunisian tourism and left a permanent scar on the hearts of survivors and the families of the victims. It serves as a haunting chapter in the calendar of crime, a reminder of how quickly a day of peace can be shattered by a single act of hatred. We remember those who fell, those who survived, and the bravery of those who stood up in the face of terror. Thanks for watching. Please comment, share, like, and subscribe for future episodes from the Calendar of Crime.